Rusame reader, Song, and today I will be reading to you from The Masquerade by Daughter of Apollo, 2019. Now, on to Chapter 12, The Passageway. It's a long story. I opened my mouth to explain, but my father cut me off again. And unfortunately, we do not have the time for it right now. Perhaps we can find time later. I sighed. Seems Britain hadn't forgotten our discussion either. I think holding another ball sounds like a magnifique idea. Mother smiled, trying to bring the conversation back. After all, America is turning 18. All eyes turned to me, looking for my say in the matter. You can do it if you want, I muttered, and instantly Australia and New Zealand's faces brightened. Pushing my chair back, I stood up. Now, if you'll excuse me, I would like to leave this conversation. See you all tomorrow. I turned to leave the room. I heard someone, most likely my father, calling me to sit at the table, but I ignored them. I wasn't in the mood for this. It was only after I'd left the table that I realized that I hadn't even finished my meal. I knew that as soon as dinner was finished, Britain would come looking for me, and I really didn't want to see him, so I needed to hide. My room was not an option. That was the first place they'd look. The garden, while tempting, wasn't good enough either. I felt too frustrated, too upset, and I didn't want to tamper with the delicate atmosphere the garden always held for me. There was only one place I could hide, and no one would find me for a while. The passageways. I hadn't been through them in a long time, 2 years to be exact, but I still knew them all by heart. And somehow I found myself wandering back the same hallway I'd been in 2 years ago when I'd made the worst mistake of my life. The bottle, while still on the ground, was empty. Good. No one deserved to have it, when it was the sole cause of my life going downhill. But all in all, it was a pretty decent hiding place. No one knew about it, and even if they did, they wouldn't bother looking for me in here. I sat on the dusty ground in a silence, thinking about the meal. I really didn't want to go to another ball. The one we just had was traumatizing enough, and I didn't want to go through all that again. But on the other hand, I did kind of want to see the mystery man again. I hadn't gotten any more information about him, mostly because he'd pushed away to the back of my mind with everything else going on. However, there was still something about him, and I really did want to see him again. And there was always the chance that by following the directions, I'd be able to make my way back onto my father's good side. I weighed the two options in my mind, trying to decide which one to go with. In the end, there was only one clear choice. But that didn't mean I wanted to go through with it right away. I wanted to hang out in the gloomy darkness of the passageways, just a little longer, for the sake of making up lost time. At some point, I heard footsteps heading in my direction, and I quickly pressed myself up against the wall, trying to avoid detection. I heard these passageways were only used by servants, and even though the use of them had declined, every now and then an old maid would remember them and go back down to check. Check what? We weren't sure. It was neither the condition of them or even that they were there at all. If it was indeed a servant, I would probably be in big trouble, and my father would be even more disappointed in me, ruining my chance to make things better. However, luck seemed to be on my side, as I heard the soft whisper of Canada's voice calling my name. But I still didn't want to talk, so I stayed against the wall and remained as silent as I could be. Guess he's not here, Canada muttered to himself before I heard the gentle footsteps retreating into another part of the passageways. I breathed out a sigh of relief. Canada definitely didn't know the passageways as well as I did, and even still he wasn't there 2 years ago when he had no idea what had gone down in the same spot he had been standing. I knew I'd still have sanctuary for a few minutes, but fooling Canada had also probably made everyone even more worried. At least a little concerned that I might have run away. I had thought about it before, but I had never actually gotten the courage to do it, and I certainly wasn't going to do it now. so I knew my short time in these hallways was coming to an end. Slowly, I made my way back through the dark hallways towards an exit. I made sure not to head back the way I had come from, while also not going the same direction I had seen Canada heading a few moments earlier. I just really didn't want to get caught. After a while, I reached one of the entrances, and after looking around, I snuck out of the passageway. I really wanted to just instantly go back to hiding in my room, but I knew that wouldn't fly. So, slowly, I made my way around the nearby corridors, hoping to run into someone. And run into someone I did. Or, more accurately, they ran into me. Australia was chasing New Zealand down a corridor with a scorpion, and New Zealand, not paying attention, as he was being chased by a crazy man with a scorpion, ran straight into me. "Oops, sorry, mate," New Zealand apologized, before looking up and seeing it was me. His face instantly brightened. "Amay! Oi, Amay! Good to see you're alive. The way Dad was acting after you left, I thought you were a goner," Australia commented with a smile, coming up behind us. Honestly, so did I. I gave my little brothers a sheepish smile. But, oh no, I think I'm alright. Australia gave me a wicked smile. "You might want to avoid Dad for the time being. He's still mighty pissed at you." I chuckled. "I bet." Then I started to walk back towards my room. I think I'm just gonna go to sleep for a little. I'm pretty tired. If you see Mom, tell her I'm alright, and I didn't run away, alright? "Okay." "What about Dad?" Australia asked with a line of hesitation in his voice. I just pretended I hadn't heard the question. And that's the end of the chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.